Community Associate Jalen Adorno. I'd like to thank Wave Hill for hosting this evening's meeting, and also Farah for joining me in hosting the board members for the refreshments. The ADA members approved for this evening's meeting are Sylvia Alexander, Lee Chung, Barbara Kale, Georgia Santiago, Jill Towns, Karen Walker, and Martin Walpoth. I still list who's ADA approved, and anyone who is on video must show their face. Most of the ADA members are here. A board member marked absent and in attendance via Zoom may be permitted to speak if called on, but does not have the privilege to vote should a vote take place. Reminder to board members, during the course of the board meeting, kindly raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged by the chairperson to speak. For guests on Zoom and in the audience, please note, only members of the public who have signed up to speak at the gallery session may address the board during the first portion of the board meeting. Members of the public who have signed up to speak are allotted 3 minutes to address the board. No more than 5 speakers are allowed. Presentations should only cover general interest and not personal matters. Board members may ask questions, during which time the 3-minute clock is stopped, but may not engage in discussion or statements during the time reserved for the gallery session. Anyone wishing to speak in the future may call the board office at 718-884-3959, or you may email the board office for our next meeting, which will be in September. So we're going to start off with the public gallery session. Our first speaker, Mario, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced, Kuranaj, from Salvatore of Soho. Mario? Yeah, there he is. Okay, he's walking in. Okay, we'll come back to Mario. He just walked in, so we'll go on to our next speaker, Ginger James from the ADA, the Bronx ADA's office, the DA's office. Ginger, I saw early. Hi, Ginger. Okay, Deputy Chief of the Youth Justice Bureau. You can come up front and speak at the podium.
Everyone this evening. So as she said, I'm Ginger James. I'm with the Bronx County District Attorney's Office, and I'm the Deputy Chief, one of the 2 Deputy Chiefs of our brand new Justice Bureau that the DA has created. I'm here on behalf of District Attorney Darcel Clark. She thanks you very much for allowing us this opportunity to appear before you, and she also greatly appreciates the work that was done on this resolution that was proposed. As far as endorsing the resolution, the DA asked me to just relay to everybody that we, in addition to appreciating all the work that was done on it, that she supports all the underlying goals that are listed in there and maybe the principles that are reflected in the resolution. As a matter of practice, though, she doesn't formally endorse recommendations, resolutions, things like that. And the reason she does it is that she wants each institution to speak for itself and to stand by what its goals and its policies are, and that she wants them to take ownership of their official positions. With that said, she wants it to be clear that the decision not to formally endorse the resolution is not to interpret any kind of disagreement whatsoever with the objectives in the resolution. But she does value getting feedback. She appreciates the work that you're doing, your perspective, and looks forward to collaborating with them. I understand that there were some questions that were posed to my office. Would you like me to go into those areas? You want me to take their time?
No, at this time, it's just for you to be able to give any information you may have in the 3 minutes allotted. Thank you. Any questions?
One of the things that was asked of us was about the resolution itself and whether there are any proposals or things that we take with it. I just want to be clear about two things. One is that the funding issue with the state, there's an issue that the state not allowing funds to come to the city for Raise the Age. Our understanding is we don't have details, our understanding that this is being actively worked on. We do understand that the state contact, we're hoping that funds will come our way. The other thing is that the concern about the loophole with the 18-year-olds has been resolved, so we're not anticipating any additional problems with that. That was one fix that actually was needed to make it into the legislation, and we do hope that going forward, the legislature will pick up some of the other changes that we don't like to see.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, our next speaker, Mario from Mario. I don't want to mess up your name. Can you step up front and pronounce your last name? I don't want to do it injustice. From Salvador Soho. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
In here. Better? I came here for 2 reasons. Need help, actually all, first, we're glad we need help with the homelessness. It's becoming, the weather be nice, it has become a little bit more, we see a lot more of that activities. Now that we have the sidewalks up, customers are being harassed. They come in, people are eating, they ask for money. It's kind of like getting a little ridiculous. And the second reason is, I know there's a voting today, and I've known Sergio for over 15 years. He's always been there for us. He helped out with the festival when we had it 10 years ago. And he actually helped gather the whole merchants together, which was a big thing. And he's always accessible to everything. Call him up, he always answers. And if I was able to vote, I'll vote for him. Thank you.
Thank you. I was just going to say a little unorthodox because you're supposed to speak at the gallery sessions on issues pertaining to the community, but thank you, because I know you do a lot for the community. Okay, our next speaker is Professor Andrew from the Dennis Shaw House. Professor, are you in the building or online on Zoom? Professor, if you're on Zoom, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item. Presentation of the Comeback Kid Achievements Awards with the Youth Committee. The Youth Committee of Bronx Community Board 8 established the Comeback Kid Achievement Award to acknowledge students that have overcome challenges and demonstrated improvement over a period of time. If the committee members can please step up. The award is the committee's belief is that by recognizing student participants in community-based organizations, schools, or community center, it can reward those youth who are working hard to improve their future and are deserving of recognition and support. So I will hand it over to the youth chair, Cesar Tabar Acosta, with the committee, Brittany Reynoso, Nicole Lewis, and Karen Walker.
Bruce Sanchez. Bruce Sanchez is former New York award recipient. The past attitude to physical health restrictions was complete his years and show that resiliency and solution up for community mentoring and just additional leadership activities with MCC while having his health issues and different concerns and still showing up for his communities and for youth who like to make special to group sanctions. And he's here.
Okay, so we will hold it for him if he arrives. And then information on the next recipient.
And the second recipient, it is for one of our youth. But with some respect, has had difficulties in transfer his health and shown up as a youth athlete and who is actually unable to be here tonight because he is currently in a tier 1 AAA like hockey camp right now, or ice hockey camp right now, and showing us hey, even with constraints on his health, that he's still showing up on the ice and as a leader in his respective fields. So we want to make sure that his family is here, but here it was
Thank you. If with the recipient comes during this evening, we'll have you come back up and present the award. On behalf of the board, we'd like to thank the committee for the work that you've done in selecting the 2 recipients. Thank you. Okay, the next item, we're just going to skip over a report from the Bronxboro President's Office. We do have a representative here, Kira Gannon, and we're waiting for the Borough President to arrive. So we'll skip on and we'll go to item number 5, report from the 50th Precinct. Captain Amadeo Aktrova. If you can unmute yourself. There you go. Captain? Captain, we still can't hear you. Captain, we see you, but we cannot hear you. Okay, we're gonna skip over until he gets the mic situation corrected, and we'll go on to roll call with our Secretary Margaret Della. We'll do roll call.
Sylvia Alexander. She said present. Okay. Debbie Allen. Constant Barnes Watson. Bob Bender. Carol Blake. Joey Campbell Privateer. Sebastian Terlapley. Lee Chong. I haven't seen her. I'll come back to her. Dr. Wayne DeBeetham. Ingrid De Leon. Margaret Della, present. Althea Ebo. Nicholas Fazio. Miriam Filer. Stephen Fruit. Dr. Julia Gomez. Edward Green. Deborah Harris. Emily Hausman. Rashida Hilliard. Barbara Kale. Laura Levine Pinedo. Nicole Lewis. Steve Matthews. Charles Merdler. Daniel Nunez. Angel Ortega. Richard Perez. Julie Reyes. Brittany Reynoso. Daniel Rowan. Georgia Santiago. Jessica Sosa. Laura Spalter. Cesar Tabar Acosta. Jill Towns. Deborah Travis. Sergio Villaverde. Karen Walker. Martin Wolpoff. Circling back, Lee Chong. Miriam Filer. Laura Levine Pinedo. Nicole Lewis. Georgia Santiago.
Present.
Okay. We have quorum.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go back and see if we can hear Captain Aktrova. Captain, if you can unmute both of the stations that you're on. We see you on Zoom and we see you maybe on a phone or something. If you can unmute yourself. Detective Jamshir, Russia, are you able to speak?
Hi, yes. My captain is being on mute, so he cannot control it from his computer. Like if guys
Would you have a
can
report?
unmute him. No, he have the report.
Okay, he's unmuted on one. Okay, I'm sorry, Captain. I don't know what to do. We cannot hear you.
We could
you
send
spoke-
you the report over. If anything, I'll email it to you.
Okay, and if does anyone have a question for the police department at this time? They could take the question and get back to us. Okay, thank you.
Thank
We'll be
you.
in touch with you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to item number 7, approval of the board minutes, May 12th, 2026. Any discussions?
On page, well, they're not numbered, but what would be page 13? The top of the page starts off with, of contact with any questions or concerns. At the 5th paragraph down, where it reads, Board Chairperson Jay Ray has explained our district is made up of, the 4th paragraph, sorry, where, Board Member Al Spalter made a it's above they're not numbered, I'm sorry. It's the area above where it says resolutions, public safety committee, April 21st, 2026. So if you go above that, you read the 1, 2, it's 13 on my package, front and back. The renewal application, liquor wine be above that. We're on the May 12th meeting. No? Okay, anyway, there was a section where we read that the chair cut off board member Spalter. I had at the end of that, I had raised a point of order that's not reflected in the that was not reflected in the minutes, and I believe it's important that be in there. I raised a point of order that she should be allowed to finish her commentary since she was recognized by the chair. I'm requesting that be added.
You're on this. What's your name or mark? Okay, it says, okay, oh, thank you. Now how get a picture of me? All right, thanks a lot.
Other than that, I have no further comment.
Okay, so that will be noted. It's here. Right there. Okay, and then another correction would be we were approving the April 14th, 2026 minutes. And then underneath, it states the board meeting minutes of March 10th were approved. It should indicate April 14th, 2026. So those two items one will be added and corrected. Any other comments? Okay, so then make motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Any objections? Abstentions? Okay, accepted. We'll go to item number 8, discussion of the executive committee minutes of, we're gonna do 2 because last month the members received the minutes not in a timely manner. So for the May 6, 2026, does anyone have any discussions on the executive minutes? No, so then we'll go on to the June 3rd executive committee meeting minutes. Any discussions on those minutes? Okay, so then we'll move on. Okay. And then before I move on, I just want to double check one last time if Professor Andrew is here from the Denshaw House. No. Okay, so we're going to move on with the agenda. Yes? No, we had a speaker. Someone wanted to speak, so we were going to give them 3 minutes on the gallery session. So they're not here, so we're just going to move on. To 3 sittings. Okay, so we're just going to backtrack. And if the youth committee can please come back up. So we could present the award to one of the recipients that was able to make it this evening.
Recipient 2025, and now come back to recipient this year. We are very honored to have the recipients. What you've done in the community and what you've sold. So with that, like for the
Congratulations. Congratulations again to you and good luck in your future. Okay, so halfway there. We're on item number 9. We're doing the chairperson's report. And as I always say, we have a long agenda, but we're going to get out on time. And I asked the board members to please stay till the end because I will be requesting to make a motion that we go into executive session and we will need a quorum at the end. So please do stay. You can go grab a bite to eat, bring it in, and that'll help you stay a little bit longer. If the committee chairs have their report available online where they can just send a sketch copy to the office, it'd be appreciated. Since, as you know, we're short on staff, and having the minutes already typed up would definitely give a hand. The social media working group consisting of Constance Barnes, Cesar Tabar Acosta, Danielle Nunez, Ed Green, and myself. We'll be working hand in hand with the staff to continue its research on the best use of technology and social media to enhance and improve the outreach, to provide adequate notice and information to populations in a district who may face barriers to participate, and just to reach everyone in general. The working group will be reviewed by the incoming chairperson. That group was established March of 2026, and we actually had a social media working group back in 2018 to 2020. I'd like to extend a thanks to Congressman Adriano Espaillat for the invitation to attend his Puerto Rican Day Parade breakfast on June 13th. And I'd also like to thank Angel Ortega for attending on the board's behalf. Thank you, Angel. Okay. The search committee was first. Okay. The next item on my report is a resolution which you all should have received. It's a resolution regarding the search committee for community coordinator. Recently, Mr. Malzou, who's standing in the back, thank you, Artie, for being here. We miss you. We have a vacant position, and our district manager, Farah, has placed ads in so that we should be receiving resumes into the office. And the search committee, what that would entail is that the district manager and the chairperson or designee would review the resumes and try to select the top 10 applicants who they believe will be best suited for the office. And then they would pass it along to the search committee. The search committee will then also review the applications, see who they believe is qualified and who should come to the office, and set up interviews. And the interviews will be conducted with the search committee, along with the district manager and the chairperson. So the resolution everyone has basically states that where currently the position is vacant, and it is the responsibility of the Bronx Community Board members for recruitment of staff. And at the June 3rd meeting of this year, the executive, rather, at the June 3rd meeting, the executive board committee members were notified of a search committee being formed, and a resolution was passed back in 2010 that the board is responsible for the hiring and firing of staff and compensation of staff and a district manager. And also, according to our bylaws, we may do a special committee, and that the search committee is hereby established to conduct a thorough search of the position of the community coordinator. The search committee will consist of 5 members. 2 of the members so far are named are Bob Bender and myself, Julie Reyes. The other 3 board members I'd like to name at the end of the meeting, and it will be 3 members where we have 2 members who are up for the position of chairperson. If we have 3, I'll just strangle you. But so far we have 2. And I did confer with the 2 who are going for the chairmanship to ask them who would they wish to be on the search committee. And whoever has the chairperson committee at the end of the votes, those are the 3 people who will be added to the search committee. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Chuck? Oh, wait.
Seems to me that if the search committee is able to come up with a candidate or candidates during the course of the summer recess, we should authorize the committee to have a written poll of the board members so that we can get somebody started right away if they are agreed upon a candidate.
Well, that's why we're doing this now. Farah and the chairperson, or if they designate a person to read the resumes. The last search that we had close to 300 resumes. So that they're dwindling down for the search committee so that it could be speedier. Since they will be working hand in hand with Farah, she really deserves to go over it. We will be working with it over the summer. We're not waiting.
The issue is if they have come to a conclusion, let's ratify that person so that person can start working right away.
Well, we would have a board meeting if that happens. The search committee and the search committee
Julie,
cannot approve
you
it.
didn't hear me. I said this would authorize the search committee with the permission of the chair or whatever to do by way of written ballot a prompt vote of the board to ratify or not ratify.
Well, we would have to have a notice to the public. We'd have to have a meeting. It will go through regular procedure. If we need a meeting in the summer, like we did my first year as chair, when they told me, oh, it'll be nice and quiet, and we had the cricket fiasco, we will call a meeting. But that's how the search committee has to go on. We can't just give them authorization, and we have to have a board meeting at the end, whomever they choose. They will have the interviews over the summer. And if they select someone, let's say they select someone in July, we can hold a meeting in July, we can hold a meeting in August, but the board members must be present and they must approve the selection. Marty?
I'm in full support of the concept that Chuck is proposing, but it's against OML, and we have to have a public meeting.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to vote on the resolution. Second. Thank you. Any objections? Abstentions? Move. Thank you. Okay, so that's the end of my report, and I'd just like to say, 3 years as chairperson. Thank you very much to everybody for your patience. And it's been an experience. And I thank every single board member, the new ones, the one who's been here forever, those of us who've gone back and forth, because it's been a learning situation with everyone. Farah and I started, you came 3 years ago and you hung in there, thank God. And like any situation, a position, there is a slight learning curve. And I am following the policy from years ago on this board. There's a lot of new people who probably aren't even aware of it, but it's an unwritten policy that as board chair, we stay 3 years and out. You could stay a little bit longer, there's nothing against it, but since I'm in the first term limited group out, so that's another reason why I figure why stay, because it would only be for 7 more months. Those of us who are leaving, we're leaving in 7 months, and I think it would be unfair to the community and the community board, and I'd rather have someone who can step into it and take that year learning curve and work with the staff, who is absolutely fabulous. We have Jalen, who was first our intern and then now is our community associate. We have Farah, who's taken my thousands of emails, and I know you want to kill me. And then we had Artie. Where are you, Artie? Artie, who always runs from the camera, who was a treasure to work with. Okay. And then we have our elected officials who just walked in, our President Gibson. But I just want to thank you, and I will thank you personally because there's too many to thank. And I've made some friends who, oddly enough, you would not think that I would, because I got a lot of support as a chair. And people say, well, what are your accomplishments? My accomplishments is having committee chairs who do the work and the board members who do the work, because it's not the chair. It's the committee chairs. You put in so much work. People don't know how much you do sometimes, and the members who step up. And more importantly, the community. The community in this district is awesome. From the cricket to the traffic lights to the trees, even though they're not tree huggers as much as before. But this community is so diverse that I love it. And I just want to thank you all, and even our local newspapers who always put out all the events, the Riverdale Press, and all the community organizations. If I left anyone out, I'm sorry, but I've thanked you throughout the 3 years because I truly do appreciate everything that each one of you have done, and I thank you. Thank you. So now our borough president just came in, so I am going to, I'm glad she came after I spoke because I could never follow her. She's too dynamic a speaker, forget about it. But our borough president, Vanessa Gibson, is here, and I'd like to give her the floor. And then after that, we'll go back to our program.
So good to be here at Community Board 8 at that general meeting. Thank you so much to everyone for coming out tonight here at Wave Hill. What a beautiful space. One of our very best cultural institutions in the Bronx. Always grateful to be here at Wave Hill Cultural Center. We have a lot of events here with our local CBOs, and we've always been able to maintain a very good relationship with Wave Hill. So thank you, Community Board 8. Thank you to our district manager, to our board chair, and to the executive team for the warm and gracious welcome. I'm the borough president, Vanessa L. Gibson. Will not be before you long. There are 5 community board meetings tonight. Wow. But I'm trying my very best to get around with my team. I have my director of the community boards unit here, Kara Gannon. Thank you, Kara. Everyone knows Kara. And thank you for letting me share her with the rest of the borough. Kara has been amazing. And we've already gone through the applications for the community board. We did all the reappointments for all 12 boards, including CB8. And now we're going through several hundred applications of new applicants that want to join one of our 12 community boards. So we will make sure that once that information is final and the notifications are ready to go, we will make sure we share that with the executive team. But I just want to give all of you 3 quick updates tonight. As the borough president, always grateful to not only work with all of you in partnership, but to make sure that our priorities align together. I've been in community board 8 a couple of times over the last several weeks. We had a New York Philharmonic that came to us for their annual summer concert in the park. During Bronx Week in May, we hosted a salsa in the Northwest Bronx, which was really amazing with KRBC and Laura Levine and her team. And we're also looking to do a lot more work now with the summer season approaching. We have our summer concert series that we host every summer in the months of July and August, all the way through Labor Day weekend. And for the last 3 years, if you may remember, we were temporarily relocated from Orchard Beach, and we had to travel with our summer concert series. So I want to acknowledge that Van Cortlandt Park has hosted us for the last 3 years for one of our concerts. I believe it was a freestyle, and we worked with Stephanie Early at the Van Cortlandt Park Alliance, who's been a great partner. And I'm really grateful to say that now the pavilion project at Orchard Beach has been complete. And now we will be able to resume and go back to Orchard Beach this summer for our summer concert series 2026. The schedule is still in the making to finalize all of our artists, but we will begin on Sunday, July 12th, all the way through Labor Day weekend. We have an amazing array of artists, and we want to make sure the summer concerts are bigger than ever. The good thing about Orchard Beach is we have a contained crowd, and we have all of our visitors that also come as well. So in addition, we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and we are hosting the Bronx 250. And our annual fireworks show is also at Orchard Beach. It happens to be tomorrow. I'm sorry, don't kill me. It's tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. We'll be at the main stage area next to Section 5. And we're going to have a fireworks show to celebrate the independence of America, the 250th anniversary, a very big deal for us. And in this term, we are really focused on tourism, certainly because of World Cup, because of FIFA. We have had 3 watch parties already. We just had one on Saturday with Ghana versus England. And last weekend, we had the United States versus Australia. So we're really trying to work with the business improvement districts to activate spaces so that we can host watch parties and really celebrate the World Cup. We have many, many soccer players, soccer fans in the borough, and we've been able to host several already, and we look forward to hosting more. Part of our tourism focus this summer is our restaurant week. So we don't call it Bronx Restaurant Week, folks. We call it Savor the Bronx, because we want everyone to savor the Bronx. So this year it will be Monday, July 6th through Sunday, July 12th, the first day of the concert. And we already have several dozen restaurants that have already signed up. And in order for us to, work with a business, work with a restaurant, we want them to agree to be a part of the Savor the Bronx for this year and offer specials, certainly offering discounts and be able to advertise and promote Restaurant Week through their own social media channels as well as ours. So we are looking to expand. We've been very successful in identifying restaurants on City Island, Pebble Bay, Kingsbridge. So we want to make sure we hit Riverdale, we hit up other parts of our bids. Certainly Belmont bid, Throgs Neck bid. So we're really trying to activate it. So I'll make sure that you get that information as well, July 6th through July 12th. But we are really active about bringing in visitors to visit our restaurants, shop local. I also say tourism is both local and it's regional. As much as we want to encourage visitors to come, whether it's for World Cup, it's for a Yankee game, it's for any one of our seasonal events, we also want our own residents to take advantage of the beauty that we represent in the Bronx. So that's important for us as well. I am working on a job fair that we're going to have next Monday. I believe that's the 29th, and that's down in the South Bronx in Mount Haven. We have a partnership with the Department of Labor called Future Focus Bronx. So every month we have a job fair for interested residents that want to apply for a new appointment or any other type of career pathways. We're very intentional in lifting up populations often left out of the traditional population when it comes to workforce. So we are doing one targeting veterans, and we are focused on doing one for the LGBTQIA+ community, as well as people with disabilities. Very important for us to make sure that all communities are impacted by our job fairs. So we have been hosting many already. So this one on Monday is in Mount Haven, and then we'll keep traveling around. I have about 3 more left through the end of the year in December. So that's a big deal for us. But I just wanted to be here to say thank you, Community Board 8. This is the last meeting before we break for the summertime. And although we are breaking from meeting officially as a community board, we're still doing work all year. We're going to be having a community board event in early fall. And we also, as many of you know, for new members of the community boards, we always have an orientation. We have a swearing in, and we do a big training at Lehman College so that all of our new members get acclimated to the ULERP process and understand what conflicts of interest, DCP, all these acronyms and agencies we work with. So we want to do our very best to train them as much as we can. We are doing more focus on parliamentarian training, Robert Rules of Orders, because we know that many new members to the board may not fully understand, and we really want to do our best to support the board. And so with that, I thank you all. I'm looking forward to seeing you somewhere. I'm usually somewhere in the borough this summer, but thank you for all your great work. Thank you for the recommendations that many of you, the board, have made for projects in Community Board 8, but in general, a lot of great things that we're doing. The New York City Council should be passing a budget in the next couple of days. Our budget will be on time by July 1st. And I'm looking forward to activating more for summer youth employment and many of the Compass and Cornerstone programs that we represent. We want all young people to have opportunities, and we do that by giving them jobs. So my final note is to recognize our board chair, because this is the last meeting that Julie is chairing as our chairperson of Community Board 8. She's not leaving the board, she's just closing a chapter, serving as chair. And I've had the wonderful honor of working with Julie over these 3 years, right? 3 years? Okay. Time has flown by, it really has. But Julie and CBA have always shown up. Any event that we have here in Board 8, you're always there. We dance salsa. We've been at the Juneteenth event, right? That BCPA has hosted. We've been at the Philharmonic. We've done a lot of things to really make sure that Community Board 8 is always seen and heard and felt. And I appreciate your leadership. And it's not easy to be a leader. It's not easy to be a chair of anything. And it certainly is not easy to be chair of a community board, but you do it effortlessly and you involve everyone, and you've been a coalition builder. And for that, we are grateful. So my appreciation to you as your borough president, I want to say thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all the great work you have done. And I know that there are many, many more blessings that will be coming your way. Congratulations, and thank you for your service. I will make you cry, I promise. Okay, real quick, sorry. So it just says, in recognition of your extraordinary dedication and your decades of service, we proudly honor you as a distinguished member of Bronx Community Board 8 since 1999. Throughout your tenure, you've demonstrated steadfast leadership and commitment to the Bronx. You serve as chair of the Public Safety Committee, Economic Development Committee, and treasurer, and you've contributed your expertise to several nominating committees, the District Manager Hiring Committee, and notably as board chair for the last 3 years. A lifelong Bronx resident, boogie down, you embody the spirit of civic engagement, of coalition building, of working tirelessly to support and uplift the neighborhoods that you have always called your home. Your enduring service stands as an inspiration to all who strive to make a meaningful impact in our borough. For these reasons and much more, on behalf of our borough, I, Vanessa L. Gibson, President of the Borough of the Bronx, salute you and thank you for an exceptional job. Well done. God bless you. All right. Madam Chair said if I could stay a couple minutes, I'll be happy to take any questions, comments, concerns, testimony, and stories. I know, I should repeat the movement.
If anyone has any questions, I just personally would like to say thank you very much for everything that you have done for the board and your staff, Karen and Alexis. They are so good to us and they guide us and they're there for us at any time. And we truly appreciate it. Thank you.
We look forward to more partnerships with Community Board 8. As you all know, I have 3 more years left, but I'm not counting. And there's a lot in store. Economic development, tourism are very big for us. Creating generational wealth and lifting families up so they have opportunities. The amazing schools that we represent in this district. And I have to add a major priority, and I know it's a priority for our parks chair, is Bailey Playground. $20 million. I'm working on it with both Councilmember Eric Dinowitz and Councilmember Katie Sanchez and the Zora Montgomery administration, because we will need some money as well as from the state. So it's a priority for us. You all see what we did at the JFK campus with that beautiful athletic field. It is gorgeous, standard. That is the standard for every athletic field that we want to see in the Bronx. And JFK was first, Julie. Then we went to Taft campus. Then I went to Walton, we did the softball field, Councilmember Eric Davis and I. Now I'm working on Lehman campus, if anyone went to Lehman, Columbus, I'm going to next, and I'm gonna keep going around the borough until every high school has a new athletic field and every campus that has a pool is opened. Because it's unacceptable that we have beautiful indoor pools in our high schools and they're closed. That's not acceptable to me. Our kids need to swim for free, $3.99. So if I can have a part in that and you can, I definitely want to make sure we do that. So as you said, your priorities to us for the next fiscal year for FY28, definitely know that I'm here to support and help in anything that I can do, including housing as well. I put in a lot of money for housing and working with the elected officials to make sure that our cooperatives get the support they need.
Thank you. Please, I know you have a lot of meetings to go to. Grab a bite on, please take something with you on the way out because you have a lot of meetings to go to tonight. Thank you. Can you?
Good evening, everyone. This is my last treasurer's report in perpetuity. That means forever and ever and ever and ever. So I was sort of the accidental treasurer because our friend and former board member, Scott Krompinger, became a court referee. And now he's actually a civil, he was elected civil, but he's a criminal court judge, Bronx Criminal Court, one of our stellar judges. And I was at an event and it was pointed out that Scott could no longer do this. And Sergio Villaverde said, well, you do it. And that's how I fell into it. And I wanted to thank Julie for her steadfast support. Really, I wouldn't have done it a second go around if not for her. So fittingly, this is the simplest report that I've given, I guess, in either term. We have 1931 left in other than personal services. And you see the breakdown in 1.1. No budget mods, nothing requested, nothing encumbered, and you see the remaining for rent and energy. And our DM will elaborate more, but she told me that she's either planning to or has spent down $1,500. So we've almost exhausted what the OMB gave us for the year. So that's the final treasurer's report for June 2026. And Julie, I praised you in your absence, explaining how I was the accidental treasurer, and I would not have agreed to, never mind what Sergio said, if not for your steadfast support. It meant a lot to me. So that's it. Thank you.
Well, Joy, I appreciate you hanging in there and serving with us because this the executives here have been good, and it's nice that you stayed. I appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to go on to our district manager, Farah Kilgulden.
Good evening. Everyone's having a happy Pride Month and had a happy Father's Day. I will say to refer to the exec board minutes as far as the many meetings that I have attended throughout the month. I did hold my district service cabinet meeting in June, and we take a summer recess till September. As Joy said, we have spent all the money that's that we were given in OTPS. So this week is the last of it. I'm happy to say for all our great volunteers, we have some new T-shirts coming in. So it's encouraging all of you to volunteer at some events, and you can get a T-shirt. I'll let you know when they come in. I'll send a picture to everyone. So most of the money has just been spent on that. And we got, Julie has been asking me for a year, 2 years maybe, for better representation of our neighborhoods in our, oh, so 3 years now for the conference maps, for the maps in our conference room. So I have worked with, I do have to thank Department of City Planning, who spent their personal time with me to create the maps. So we have new updated maps. I'm just printing them out and we'll be putting them in our conference room. So I do want to thank Camilla Thomas personally for that. So she did that out of her personal time. Also, just want to talk about, we did a lot of great tabling events the last few months, as well as throughout the year. We had the North Riverdale Block Festival, the Theory 9 food distribution, Marble Hill shredding event, Riverdale Pride. Some of our volunteers, which deserve a t-shirt now, is Debbie Allen, Brittany Reynoso, Laura Spalter, Daniel Nunez, Stephen Fruit, Angel Ortega. So thank you all. I also will let you know about the future events over the summer. In August, we have National Night Out, and we always have a Marble Hill Family Fun Day. Our office was very lucky to distribute many great events, tickets to New York Botanical Gardens. Most recently, we distributed 170 tickets to the Bronx Day Flower Power event in June. Over 170 tickets went to our shelter families, schools, community organizations, and Bronx CBA residents. Moving on, I just want to add that I will be working on the new meetings calendar over the summer and also working on hiring a new community coordinator over the summer with our committee members. Also, I just want to thank all of our board members for, I'm always amazed at how much time and passion you have and volunteer for this board. So I thank you. I do want to also mention that we are going to have summer hours starting June 29th. Jalen and I will be working Monday to Thursday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 to 1 on Fridays. Again, I started with Julie 3 years ago. I want to thank Julie. We've grown together, you know, in our positions, and we've worked great together. We've battled together, but we always work in friendship and respect, and I appreciate that. I will miss you, but I'm glad you'll still be with us this year. And thank you for everything. And then I also just want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July and have a great summer.
Thank you, Farah. I know you do a lot of work and hopefully you'll have a quiet summer. Okay, we're going to go on to the committee reports. Microphones must be used. Please wait to be called on and please be mindful of the time. We have 16 committees reporting, so if the information that you want to share this evening is in the minutes, please just let us read them in the minutes. So we'll start off. It will be health, hospitals and social services, and then environment and sanitation. So Dr. DeBeetham, where are you? Oh, okay.
Our last meeting was on the, and so we had representatives from Medicare and Medicaid services who talk about Medicare benefits, resources available, and also the issue of fraud. So I strongly encourage anyone who is eligible or will be eligible for Medicare and anyone in the future to actually look at that because it is critically important. A lot of things we're talking about in terms of the resources they have available and also concerning fraud. We also have a representative talk about the Green Book for Health, and it's a health guide that's aimed at looking at locations where people of color can get good health care and also seeking to ensure that that is propagated forward in their this really interesting project. And essentially it. So thank you very much for a wonderful year.
Thank you, Dr. DeBeetham. Any questions or comments for the good doctor, as he runs that? Okay. Environment sanitation, Dan Rowan.
Yes, we've had two meetings. It's the last time on May 20th and June 17th. But tonight, so from that, we have a resolution that is, we already approved, but the whole board approved, please, for Make Music New York, who I guess put on concert at like throughout the city, but on June 21st. So it kind of already happened, but now we get to vote on it. They did it up at the James Baldwin Plaza. So maybe they'll do it again and we can go next year. Or if anybody went.
Okay, that came from the committee?
Yes. Yeah, we approved that unanimously. So for
okay. So
here, anybody
doesn't that require
opposed, abstained?
It doesn't require a second. Anybody abstaining from that vote? Anybody opposed? All right, unanimously passes.
Perfect. Otherwise, we talked about the Broadway corridor. I want to thank Margaret for spearheading that and getting the MTA to actually do stuff and respond and clean up and put crossing guards at the like blind left turns, at least sometimes anyway. They're still blind the rest of the times. But it's better. And there's signs for the businesses, etc., certain things already, immediately. Also, we talked about Arlington Avenue and how it's undedicated and how we can fix that, I hope. Emily, please. Thank you. Yes, thank you to all of the committee members. Enjoy my minutes on your summer.
Thank you. Can we get Sylvia, Mike? Great. Education Library, book Sylvia right here.
I want to ask a question. Any chance we can pursue having some Knicks trash cans in the Bronx? Perhaps at our basketball courts?
I mean, if you want to paint them. Well, I think that's all those were. I think they just like painted ones that were already there.
Any other comment? Any other suggestions for or comments? Well, we need a microphone. We will follow up. Yes, Sylvia.
Yes.
Education
I mean, I don't have a report really because we did not have a meeting in June. School is out. And I just want to wish everybody a wonderful summer.
Thank you. So, any comments or questions for Sylvia? No? Okay, budget, please, Sebastian.
Good evening, everyone. We had our meeting on June 3rd, and we went over our FY28 expense and capital priorities. You have those capital and expense priorities in your packet. Can we please review them? And we usually take a vote in our June meeting. And we also vote after the public hearing in October. So can I have a motion to vote?
Was there a resolution? I'm sorry, I didn't.
I don't know if there's a resolution. We usually vote.
What are you putting forth, Sebastian?
The budget priorities.
The budget priorities, yes. So there's motion second. Is there a second? Right? Deb Travis second. Any further discussion? Any questions? Okay, discussions are closed. Any abstentions to that? Any nays? Any no's? Right? Then unanimously, the priorities are passed.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work, Sebastian. Okay, aging. Where's Miss Barbara Kell? Usted.
We met on June 11th, and we more or less polished the Older Adults Resource Guide over the summer. We'll be finalizing it, and we are going to prepare a beta test of it for September. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. So it's a special committee on Veterans Services.
Thank you. We did not meet since the last meeting. However, there are a couple of announcements. As you heard, the borough president stole a little bit of my thunder. There's going to be one of the job fairs is going to be for veterans. So if you know any veterans who are seeking employment, please have them contact the borough president's office and the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation. And I wish everyone a great summer. Thank you for your support of the veterans in our district.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a resolution to renew the Special Committee on Veteran Services. As soon as I find it. Okay, everybody has it? Okay.
All right, Deb, do you mind if I make this motion and you second it? Only because of thank you. So I'll make a motion for the resolution to continue the Special Committee on Veteran Services. As we all know, it's near and dear to my heart. I feel very special. I've been honored to chair it for a couple of years. So I made the motion and Deb seconded.
Okay, thank you. Because with this one, I had a line in here for the resolution at the be it therefore resolved, where we are I'm naming Emily Hausman as the committee chairperson in the event that the current chairperson is not in the committee. Does everyone understand? Hold up. The resolution, the next to the last paragraph, it says, be it further resolved that the special committee now be comprised of board members. Are you on the same line? Okay. Emily Hausman, Margaret Zella, Julia Gomez, Sergio Villaverde, with, and then there's a line, and that will state Emily Hausman as chairperson of the committee, provided the current chairperson is not in the committee, and we'll know by the end of this evening. And then community members, Herb Barrett, Robert Stolzer, Patrick Watson, and others to be determined. Does everyone understand? Okay, so do we vote? We didn't vote? Okay, any abstentions? Objections? Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Sergio. Okay, the next committee to speak, Special Committee on Racial Equity. Margaret Zella.
Thank you so much. We did not meet in June. However, we submitted our interim report that we submit every year. So thank you to Althea and Daniel for being a part of the committee this last year. A couple of things, we updated the capital requests throughout the district. So you can see those, you can track the track the capital expenses from fiscal year 2016 all the way to present day. So you can see by every committee, which committee requested, how many times over those multiple fiscal years that we've requested those items. We also created a map where you could see the layers of pollution, layers of redlining, and then the capital asks that the community board has made. We also created or updated the activities list. So by every standing committee, thank you to Althea for spearheading that, but every single committee, what you all had worked on, trying to capture that in a way that looks comprehensive and that we can share with the wider community. So that report is out, it's live. All the links have been updated on the SREED website, and I think it was sent out over email. So that is it for our year. Also, just to let you know that the Mayor's Office of Racial Equity had released their report, first time in 4 years, after it was voted by all of New Yorkers in 2022. They also released the real cost of living in New York City. So both of those options are also available on the community board website as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. And then we'll also vote on the renewal for the Special Committee on Racial Equity Committee. And the committee members will be Althea Ebo, Daniel Nunez, Margaret Della, and others to be determined. And I'd like to do a friendly amendment to amend it to state that Althea Ebo will be the chairperson of the SCREE committee. Any questions, comments? Okay, so then we'll vote on the resolution to extend SCREE. Any objections? Abstentions? Passes. Thank you. And I'd like to thank Margaret for all the years that you put in to SCREE. You gave us a charge back in 2020 on the actions to take as a board with this committee. And through the years, you've done wonderful reports. So I'd like to thank Althea for stepping up and agreeing. I know reluctantly, but you agreed. We're going to hold you to it to be the chairperson of the committee, and you will get the support from the staff, Margaret, and the rest of the board members. Thank you. Okay, so now we will move to Bob Bender with the special committee on the Hudson River Greenway.
Thank you. The committee met once, and the report on that committee meeting circulated some time ago. We also issued the annual report more recently on our activities. The two issues that came up this year were the new Greenway map and where the Hudson River Greenway sits on that map, which is where it has always been planned but unbuilt. But the other issue that came up, and which we will be discussing this fall, has to do with the plan that Metro North has put forward, although they've yet to tell us any of the details of it, that they are going to build some resiliency structure somewhere along the Hudson between the Riverdale Metro North Station and the Spuyten Duyvil Metro North Station. And that resiliency project will have some significant ramifications for what we hope to build along the river, which is the Greenway. We need to see the details. Metro North has said they will come back in the fall, to do a presentation. We really want to sit at the table with them, and there are some issues about who actually owns the land along the river. Metro North has acted all along as though they own everything from the tracks to the river. And in fact, the zoning maps and ACRIS, the source of zoning information, show otherwise. So we have a very important meeting coming up in the fall with Metro North that will be significant for the Greenway. Aside from that, I do want to mention that there's a flyer on the table outside that the Friends of the Hudson River Greenway will be holding their second Sunset on the Hudson event on July 25th. Those of you who were there last year know it was really quite wonderful to be down. It's at Mount St. Vincent. It's all the way down at the point, which is the property on the other side of the tracks. It is as close to the Hudson as you can get. And it will give you a real sense of what it will be like when we actually have a Greenway along the Hudson River. So that's going to be July 25th from, I believe it's 5 o'clock to 7:30. It's a Saturday, and that day is also City of Water Day, and seemed like the most appropriate day to be celebrating the water that lies right outside our community board, which we can't access, but which we hope we will. So I hope we will renew the committee for another year, but we'll soon find out.
Okay, I believe we will. And I think the first time I met you was like over 15 years ago. You weren't on the board yet, and you were still fighting the cause on this. Okay, so with that said, we're going to resolution you received to extend the special committee on Hudson River Greenway, and be it therefore resolved that the committee members will be comprised of Bob Bender, the chairperson, Deborah Travis, Laura Spalter, Stephen Fruit, and others to be determined. Any discussion, objections, abstentions? Renewed. And thank you for all the work that you continue to do. Okay. So now we're going to the next committee, will be the Youth Committee.
Howdy. So the youth committee last met on Monday, not like last Monday, where we spoke. Sorry, I just forgot which date it was. On Monday the 15th, where we just spoke about future planning for the upcoming year, and we look forward to seeing y'all in September for our next committee meeting.
Great, thank you. Traffic and Transportation, Ms. Debbie Allen, your last report is.
This is my last report as TNT chair, and I want to thank Julie personally because she whispered in my ear in April of 2025, "You can do it, you can do it," and I did. So with that being said, I'm very grateful for the experience. I'm very grateful to know that the Community Board 8 is working hard to really to improve what we can, especially working with DOT, MTA, and the other offices, which is at times it's challenging, but we still got to put our foot forward and work with these different agencies so we can have our voices heard. So with that being said, I'm going to move forward with my resolutions. I'm not going to read them all. Our last meeting was on June 18, 2026. And you could see the meeting on YouTube and you can read our minutes. All right, so the first resolution is from May 14, 2026, was a Soccer Street at PS 24, a full street closure. The event already happened on June 24th, and there was no issues.
Okay.
And there was no abstentions.
Okay, so then this is pretty much formality. So does anyone have any objections to the resolution? Abstentions? Passes.
Okay, the next resolution is a SAPO application for community recycling event. It's only a curb lane closure on the Riverdale Avenue eastbound street side between 259th Street and 260th Street. The event will happen on August 2nd, 2026 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And there's something that with this event, we want the event coordinator to coordinate with the 50th precinct just to make sure that the businesses are aware of the event. And the event coordinator also assured us that it would not affect the buses traveling. It was unanimously voted on by the committee.
Okay, so any discussions? We're going to vote then? Any abstentions, disapprovals? Approved.
Okay, the next one is a new license of Blessings Car Service LLC, which is a business that is an additional business of the Veterans Car Service, but there's two separate SAPO application, not SAPO, but a letter of no objection. That's what they're requesting.
Okay, any discussion? So we'll vote. Abstentions, disapproval, passes.
Okay, the next one is the TLC-based license for Veterans Radio Dispatcher, and it's just an application of renewal. They're requesting a letter of no objection to be sent to TLC, and the committee fully supported the application of renewal with no objection.
Okay, any discussion? Abstentions? So we'll vote. Abstentions, disapproval, approved.
Okay, the next one may be a little bumpy. It's a joint resolution with Public Safety and Traffic and Transportation Committee with concerns from an FDNY concerns regarding DOT Bailey and Cedric Avenue bike lane proposal, protected bike lane barriers, and its impact on the emergency response times. It did pass committee. There was one committee member that abstained. The fire department did come before Traffic and Transportation on June 18th, and the fire department also presented to the Public Safety Committee on May 18th. So they presented to both committees. Both committees heard what the fire department concerns were. And it's about making sure that we don't have delays in response time.
Okay, any discussion? Deb?
So I just had a couple of things I wanted to say about this. The first off is that I agree that we want to make sure that we're getting good response from our emergency service providers. I think we all agree on that. This resolution, however, I think that it's got two issues that it's trying to address at the same time. That's my first objection. That the concrete barriers are an issue that the fire department has been raising, and that was raised all the way to the level of the commissioner who was asked by the city council about this. And he said that, or they said that they did not believe it was a policy of the FDNY, that there was a concern, but that they continue to work with DOT, and the city council asked them to actually work a little bit better and a little bit faster with each other, which I think is a good response to have the two agencies actually coordinate this in a nuanced way so that the bicyclists and the bike lanes are all protected from double parking, which is essentially what that's for, and that the fire department certainly is getting the resources and accommodation that it needs. On the other hand is the issue of the Sedgwick one-way. Now, this particular issue, I'm concerned about us having a resolution regarding something that's not in our district, even though it does have a small impact, you know, if you're the person waiting, a large impact for in our district, right? But so I went to Community Board 7's website to just see how they responded to this, because this is directly in their backyard. And they essentially referred it back to DOT and FDNY to work it out. And I think one of the reasons for this is because DOT has been very clear that the Harlem River Greenway, which will be running all the way from the tip of the Bronx to Van Cortlandt Park, is going to happen, and that they're going to put a bike lane on that particular segment of Sedgwick Avenue, which is a bit narrower than other parts of Sedgwick Avenue. And so if they are not able to make this one small block a one-way, they would then need to eliminate the parking in order to accommodate the bike lane. So that there's a real world impact to the folks who live on that block. That the DOT said to them, you can have the one-way or you can essentially have the parking, but you can't have both. And so I think that that's probably to some degree what CB7 is responding to. And so while I think it's important to think about these response times, I also worry about unintended consequences in other community boards that directly affect their residents. And so for those reasons, I just can't support this particular resolution, although I agree with portions of it and its intent.
Ed?
Good evening, everybody. So this initially came to both my and Debbie's attention by FDNY local battalion leaders who sent emails to the board, basically pleading with us to get people's attention about this issue. You know, and they also stated that they've reached out to DOT and received no response on some of these issues, which to me speaks volumes. So we, you know, our intention is to get local officials and higher involved in this. And, you know, based on their track record, DOT, to me, they have not responded well in the past to us when we tried to ask them for stuff. So we want to get their attention with this resolution. I hope everybody read the resolution. The fire department is concerned about these structures affecting and one-way streets affecting response times. And we're talking about people's lives. It's an extremely important thing. And just the fact that a lot of these barriers were constructed before there was proper oversight of what's the consequences of these. They didn't even know what the consequences were going to be. So now we're getting some feedback that they might be creating dangerous situations. So to me, this is a no-brainer. I support the fire department's concerns, and we want to get people's attention to at least try to gather some data and see what the actual effects are on response times, and also the barriers affecting the fire trucks themselves with the leg stabilizers and them making rescue operations. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Oh, sorry, Bob.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm the committee member who did not vote in favor at the TNT committee. I abstained. It's a serious issue. There's no question about that. This is a real safety issue. But first of all, I don't think it's a community board issue. Number one. Number two, it's certainly premature, in my opinion, to be passing a resolution on this subject because there's so much we don't know. We know that FDNY has reached out to the DOT to express these concerns. We don't know whether the DOT has responded. We don't know whether there's any conversation going on between the two agencies at this point. We do know that the community board that's directly affected, Community Board 7, as Travis said, they have not passed a resolution on this issue. And I'm wary of passing a resolution on an issue in another community board because, one day we might find the reverse taking place. This is an issue. It's an interagency problem between FDNY and DOT. It has to be worked out by the agencies. If they can work it out, that's why we have elected officials, the city council member, the assembly member, the borough president. Somebody's got to pull these two agencies together, put them in a room and say, look, let's figure this out so that we're not jeopardizing the response time from the fire department, but you're also able to go ahead and do things that need to be done. So I just feel I'm not so much opposed to the resolution as I am opposed to the timing of passing a resolution on this subject now when there's so much we don't know.
Thank you. Deb and Ed, is this time sensitive or is this something that we can pause until September to get further answers and write a letter of some sort and contact the various agencies and elected officials?
My personal opinion is no. In the Bronx, we've had pretty much a 60% increase with fires in the Bronx. Where I live in Skyview, there was a fire. In my life, there's been a fire. And I feel that when first responders say that something is unsafe for the public and for people that have to save other people, and we're just going to wait to next year or next month until something terrible happens, I don't think it's right for the public. I think there's some community boards that are not aggressive with resolutions. I did listen to some of the other feedback from different community boards, and I have to admit that we are a little more aggressive and outspoken when it comes to certain issues that other parts of the Bronx isn't. And it doesn't mean that, they're not as sensitive or not as aggressive, but we speak up, and we're not waiting for these different agencies to work together. With SCREE, we waited for the NTA and we waited for the sanitation department and different agencies to work together. And there was literally garbage spewing all over the corridor. So were we supposed to just wait? I mean, I think that it may not affect us today, but tomorrow, if there's a 6 or 7 alarm fire, it's going to affect us.
Okay, thank you. Julia, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I apologize if I missed this. My ADD has decided to be destructive and not cooperative. What was the votes? It doesn't say on the resolution, how many for, how many against, how many abstentions? Do we have those count? Yes, the committee's voting to get it out of committee to the floor tonight.
It was 3 for and 1 abstention. No. 3 for the resolution and 1 abstention. 3 in favor.
And you had, as your resolution states, you have written correspondence asking for the board to do something, and you also had someone from the FDNY at your meeting. You even put them on the spot and said, well, what about your supervisor? So they were asking for the committee to do something. That was a long meeting, I remember it.
And just to answer Julia's question from public safety, we didn't have an official vote on it, but the consensus was 5-4, 0 abstentions, 0 against. So it was unanimous, the consensus. We did not have a vote because we didn't believe we had a quorum. So, but we were all consensus. The consensus was unanimous that we would pass it.
I think we have enough to let's vote. So
Julie, I'd just like to correct one second because it was mentioned that we don't even know if DOT and the fire department are coordinating or talking. We absolutely do know that because they showed up at the meeting last week and said it to us that they have not heard from DOT and gotten no response from them. So I just wanted to state that.
okay, and then Brittany has a quick question, and then we're going to vote.
Hello. So for this resolution, the response to it is either the one way or they lose parking on Sedgwick.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
So I know they stated in the resolution that I guess so they set the protected bike lane barriers, but then they also said that I guess they want to make Sedgwick either into a one way or they remove parking. I think it's either or. Who makes that choice?
You had mentioned that they say you can't have both. It's either one way or.
Who makes that decision? Do we do or
no? we don't make any decision. Okay. Are they working? I'm going to be a little orthodox since this is my last meeting. Are they working on something that you can actually give us something to help in the vote? If not, we're going to vote.
We did send a letter asking for them to provide more information regarding that segment because we had concerns about safety, not just for that portion of Sedgwick, but also for the residents that live in the area that would become congested going up the hill. And they pretty much did not reply. In the meantime, they asked us to support other items, but so we're waiting to probably see the construction being done before we get a reply at this point for this project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to vote. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. So, is everyone clear on the resolution? Okay, who is abstaining from this vote? Miko. Miko. Is anyone opposing? Okay, opposing, you have 4. Daniel. Richard and Julia. Yes. And you should have 4.
Richard Perez, Daniel, Deb Travis, Rowan.
Constance, are you opposing? And Constance. Constance and Brittany. Okay. And then all else approves. Okay, so Debbie, anything else? Okay, thank you, and thank you again for hanging in there. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Sergio, I wanted to say something.
Madam Chair, I'd like to take the chair for a moment. I'd like to have one of our council members come up. Councilmember Sanchez. Sanchez, please join us. And if Madam Chair could join us at the podium, please.
Good evening, everyone. I've been doing a lot of graduations today, so I'm like, good evening.
I wanted to join the bandwagon. Congratulations to you. I wanted to share this citation on behalf of the City Council to thank you for your service. 27 years. Thank you so much. And 3 years as chair. So I know you also got a proclamation. So can we get a picture? Over here. Thank you. Thank you for indulging us, Nate.
Okay, moving on. Who's next? Public safety. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations to Julian. Thank you, and all gratitude to Julian and all the board members. Thank you for what you do. My biggest update is that the budget is due any moment, really. And so we're in the middle of a really big fight. On the biggest priority is securing the funds in the budget for the expansion of the City Preps program, which is a housing voucher program that we help low-income families. Right now, 2/3 of the families living for vouchers, so we cannot exit without that assistance. And we also want to have an expansion program to prevent eviction and reopening. So we are fighting for those funds, and I may actually remember the should I get to? But I may actually in the on-prem of my very personal vote in the city council if the mayor and the speaker the speaker has been really supportive of his ask, but from the mayor and honestly said that he's going to drop the lawsuit against the city council to expand that program, and that he's going to fund it in the budget. If neither of those things, and the budget is 2 to 3 days away from there. So please pray and everything we do that we can find a solution. Please stabilize, and we know that this is what the lowest income families need. It was a number of committees, actually, the Economic Development Committee, the Transportation Committee, several committees from Community Board 8. We worked together to bring in DOT and MTA about the Broadway corridor. So that's 225th to 242nd. I understand that conditions are a little bit better. I only represent like 2 of the blocks, so we did it anyway. But we're at ears to the ground. If you see conditions worsening, the contractors that know what they're supposed to do, not getting up free, whatever it is, sprawling in their work site, just continue to let us know, and we'll continue to hound them so they can do stuff with the small business quarter. The last thing I will say, I'm sure this is Soraya, who is CBA for our office now. She's magnificent. I'm sure she had other points. The only other thing that I want to say is, in addition to that, my other priority is Bailey Playground that hasn't had the comprehensive renovation in nearly 30 years, I believe. And so that is our second top priority, second most priority, but top priority for the capital budget this year. So hopefully we'll make that happen. And congratulations on another fiscal year. So happy new fiscal year, right? Yeah. And thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, we'll go back to the agenda and we'll go to public safety. Ed Green.
Good evening again, everybody. So public safety, we've had 2 meetings since our last full board meeting. We had a meeting on May 19th, and also another meeting on June 16th. In the interest of time, I'm going to mix this up a little and try to make this as quickly as possible for the resolutions. For this State Liquor Authority resolutions for our May 19th, we had two of them. We had a new application and temporary retail permit for Artisan at 3700 Riverdale Avenue, and we had a new application and temporary retail permit for Yucca Latin Bistro at 5686 Riverdale Avenue. Both of those resolutions were passed unanimously by the committee. I'd like to vote on both of them at one time.
Okay, any objections? Being there none, we'll take a vote. Any abstentions? Disapprove? Approve.
Okay, so with that, I'll go to our June 16th meeting. We had four four SLA resolutions. I want to vote with three of them together and one separately. But before I do that, I have to say we did not have an official vote on them, so I want to bring them up from the floor. Do we have a motion to bring them up from the floor?
So a motion to amend the agenda to add the resolutions. Okay, any abstentions, objections? Okay, bring the resolutions.
Okay, so the three I'd like to vote together, they're all three renewal applications. One is for Tobala at 3732 Riverdale Avenue. Another is for The Last Stop at A1 and J1 Restaurant at 5977 Broadway. And the third is for Chipotle Mexican Grill at 190 West 231st Street. 50th Precinct had no issues with any of these businesses, and our committee voted unanimously to approve them. I'd like to vote on them as a block.
Okay, any objections? So we'll take a vote. Any abstentions? Disapprove? Approve.
Okay, and another resolution we had on June 16th was a new application and temporary retail permit for Noir Restaurant Lounge LLC at 3638 Bailey Avenue. And I noticed that I'm going to just break this down very briefly so that people understand why I wanted to vote with this separately. So this was a business that had come to us previously, and the board actually, and I want to make a change to the resolution also, because I wrote that they came to us in November. It was October. So October of 25, the board passed a resolution disapproving Noir Restaurant Lounge liquor license application, and we sent the notice of disapproval to SLA. The reason it was disapproved, several reasons. One, they refused to sign a 2 a.m. closing agreement. We received several emails from them. Well, for this, that was previously why we disapproved them. This time, they flat out refused to show up to the committee at all. They're a new business. They refused to come. We sent several email notifications out. They said they were declining to appear. They declined to sign the 2 a.m. agreement again. And this was a place we had previously disapproved. And it's also an area that has had a lot of issues as far as noise and crime and actually arrests and drug activity. So we've gotten that information to the 50th Precinct. So the committee, this was one of them again that the consensus was we unanimously disapproved, but we didn't vote because of the quorum. So again, I'm bringing this from the floor. Motion to accept this on the floor.
This is the renewal on Bailey.
This is actually a new application. They had previously been denied, and they're coming again, only they didn't show up again. They put in an application, but they refused to show up, and they refused to sign the 2 a.m. agreement.
The Bailey.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone have any questions, comments? Okay, so then we'll take a vote. Any abstentions? Disapprove? Okay. Okay, everyone else approve? Okay.
Okay, and last but not least, Go ahead.
They're not showing up is really the reason why. Yes, everyone is looking at
So
Okay.
last but not least, I just wanted to first thank, she's still here. Yep. Ginger James, ADA Deputy Chief of the Youth Justice Bureau from Darcel Clark, Bronx District Attorney's Office. Thank you for showing up and thank you for speaking on behalf of what Darcel Clark is looking to do. So appreciate you coming out. And I also want to say that she did mention that the funding, that's one of the things that you're trying to get is funding. And going back to May, we did pass a funding appropriation for Raise the Age legislation. It was signed by myself and Board Chair Reyes, and hopefully maybe that did some good with that whole process. So we appreciate that, and we have the same goal in mind when it comes to the funding. So with that, we have a resolution that passed the committee unanimously in May for Raise the Age, and I hope everybody got a chance to read it because it's been out for 2 months now. And I'm not gonna, I'll read the therefore be it resolved, and to just state what we're looking for. There's really 3 provisions in this in the whereas clauses, and one is to make all firearm charges eligible for retention by the youth part in criminal court. The other is to allow youth part judges to access family court records, and when it comes to setting bail, sentencing, and alternatives to detention. And the third is to give family court the jurisdiction over 18-year-olds if the offense that they're charged with was committed when the defendant was 16 or 17. So therefore be it resolves are that the community board supports the Raise the Age law while also endorsing proposed changes to the law advocated by Bronx District Attorney Darcel Clark that will balance rehabilitation with public safety issues concerning gun violence. And therefore be it resolved, Bronx Community Board 8 calls on elected officials to provide funding necessary for youth services and programs that emphasize prevention, alternatives to incorporation, promotion of community connectiveness, and restorative justice. That's our resolution in a nutshell.
Okay, questions, Constance? You need the mic.
Just wondered if, Ed, maybe you can explain what is a youth part judge? I'm
Sure.
not familiar.
So a youth part judge is certain gun charges. If somebody displays a gun, it will go to criminal court, where criminal court has a youth part, and the youth part judge deals with adolescents in criminal court, but it is a youth part judge. So that's what a youth part judge is.
Any other questions? Okay, so then we'll take a vote. In regards to the resolution, is anyone abstaining from this vote? Is anyone opposed to the resolution? Passes.
So I think that is it, and I want to thank everybody. I encourage everybody to sign up for the Public Safety Committee. We want to hear as many diverse voices as we possibly can. I want to thank Chair Reyes for 3 years that were, I'm sure they were a great learning experience with some difficulties along the way. It was a pleasure working with you at times, and I wish you the best. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate it. And the same to you. You have one of the largest committees. Thank you for your work. Okay, now we're going to go to Law, Rules, and Ethics. Marty Wolkoff, who's heard a lot from me these past 3 years.
It's Parks.
You have.
Skip, Julie,
Yeah,
skip Parks.
I always do that to you.
Any Debbie I can think of, and we'll just skip Parks.
I'm sorry, Marty. Okay.
1 second. It shouldn't be too long. I've got a pretty brief report. First, our last meeting was last night, where the Parks Department came and they presented on the additional information on the stadium and the necessity of taking it down. And then also kind of how they're beginning to imagine the 20-acre site and what they're going to be doing with it. We're going to continue to press on them to actually present the master plan with the community and get more community input, because it's a big site, it's a big project, and we should have a say in it. The Tibbetts Advisory Group, speaking of big projects, met on June 16th to just provide an update from DEP on the Tibbetts Brook Daylighting Project. For those who may not be following this, the project is the construction of a daylit stream and a greenway along the Major Deegan from Van Cortlandt Park to West 230th. With the water then continuing to travel all the way down to the Harlem River. Once completed, it will divert 2.1 billion gallons of water from the lake in Van Cortlandt Park from the sewer into the Harlem River directly. And this will provide additional capacity in the sewer so it can handle rainwater a lot better during heavy storm events. And then they estimate that it will actually divert 215 million gallons of sewage from the Harlem River, which currently goes in during heavy rain because of combined sewer overflow. So where are they at with it? The procurement is almost complete on the project, and construction will begin mobilizing at the end of August, and then we should actually begin to see them working in October, November. And they expect that it'll be done in 2029. They have a deadline they need to meet because of a federal mandate to get the CSOs out of the river. So they are really working very hard to get this done quickly. I also wanted to, and then also as part of this project, flood net sensors have been installed near the weir in Van Cortlandt Park, which are measuring high water. And so in case you see those, that's what's going on. And they've been, DEP's also been removing invasives from the lake, and they'll be continuing to do that until 2028. And then I also want to call your attention to the current exhibition at the Van Cortlandt House Museum. It's called Overlapping Empires, and it's created by Bronx-based Jamaican-born artist Samantha Box. I was there 2 weeks ago when it opened. It's fantastic. She does a total takeover of the whole house, integrating still life photography and sound installation in all of the rooms. When we were pressing on them, 2 years ago, to do better, more relevant presentations to our community in this house and to really use it and activate it, this is exactly the kind of stuff we were really looking for. So I really encourage you to go. It's gonna be open to the public for free all summer. And it'll be there through August 30th. So go check that out. They're also doing a bunch of other events. The artists will be doing talks and tours and panel discussions connected to this. But then there also will be other presentations and there's a food thing and a music thing, all because of the 250th anniversary. So check out, you can follow them on Instagram. It's probably the easiest. And then they also do update their calendar mostly on the website. There's still little opportunities there, but they're doing great. So that's it. Have a wonderful summer. Oh, I want shout outs to all the mentions of Bailey Playground here tonight. It's very encouraging. $20 million is not easy to come by. And there's a new Parks Resource Guide. So shout out to Farah for getting that published. It's right outside if you want to check it out. And to everybody on the Parks Committee, thank you for all the hard work going into that resource guide. So have a great summer, everybody.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks for all the good work you do. Okay, now Marty, we're gonna go. I'm sorry. Rules and ethics, Marty Walpole.
Quick 4 items. Item number 1 is you have a resolution before you. Last month we passed it unanimously except for one abstention. It's exactly the same wording. All I've done, though the committee has done, is rearrange it so it fit appropriately into the ethical guidance manual. So first you have a new chapter listing in the table of contents, and then you have the intended wording that was passed in the resolution last month. So that's the resolution before you.
Okay, any discussions? So we'll take a vote. Any abstentions? Objections? Passes.
Great, thank you. Second, just to remind everyone that we do voting first. It surprised me, when to be asked by many people last month, how do we actually vote? And it struck me as people, so I'll say one time shortly, I invited you all to watch my program at the last LRE meeting. Nobody seemed to want to do that, but we are bound, according to our bylaws, to Robert's rules. Interestingly, it doesn't say what edition of Robert's Rules, and I haven't the foggiest idea from one to the other if and what the changes were, except making more money for the Roberts people. But when it comes to voting, the city charter specifically says opposite of what Robert's Rules says. And voting under the city charter, abstentions are counted. Under Robert's Rules, you don't even have to ask for it. It's those who vote that count. And under Robert's Rules, that resolution was passed. Under the city charter, it did not. So if you have a question about this, I'm prepared to go further, but not now. Of course, I enjoy talking about it. Just to bring to your attention, you all know that term limits will be going into effect this coming year. I, among others, will be off the board at some point next year. And I mention this only because the question of change of leadership is something that if anyone is concerned about becoming or doing, ought to look into. And finally, last thing, as chair of the Law, Rules, and Ethics Committee, I want to lean on the concept of ethics. And I think it would be unethical if we didn't thank Julie and Farah for being our hosts this evening.
You had a question? Oh, I thought you had a question for him. Okay, thank you, Marty. We're going on to economic development, Constance.
Thank you. We had our final meeting on June 7th, and we talked about the work we've done this year and talked about what we can do next year. I had a sit down with Catherine at the Kingsbridge Bid to learn more about what they did last Friday. I also testified as a small business owner at the Mayor's Commission on Government Efficiency, COGE, hearing on June 10th at Fordham University. And I have a meeting with Delia Awusi, who is the mayor's mom and pop czar, this Friday to learn more about how they can support small businesses in our neighborhood. And in case you missed it, we had information today that Junior Frias, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, did sign the agreement to open Fine Fair at Knowles Crescent, and they are working on a pharmacy TBD.
Thank you. Land use, Chuck?
We have two resolutions. One of them is preceded by a point of report. We have been working actively with some of the leaders of the Van Cortlandt Village community to try and deal with what, in my personal opinion, is a certainly blighted area, and one that will be increasingly blighted if it continues down its present track. One of the issues is there are a significant number of what we used to call SROs, and which now are called micro housing. And the question was, what impact does it have on the community involved? The first study that came in from the working group as they were putting it together, and it was drafted by Abba Leffler, who did his usual excellent job, it found that the number of 311 calls has escalated sharply in and around the area of the micro units from what happened before there were micro units. As they come in, the 311 calls come in. I will tell you from personal experience as the Commissioner of Buildings, who put many of those SROs out of business. They are a blight on the community, and that will reflect itself here. Ed Green will be giving us some of the police data in the next few weeks, and we'll pull all those pieces together and submit it to those who have been sponsoring this throughout the city of New York. They apparently are well received in Manhattan. I don't know how they are received outside of this community, but the statistics are very clear and they're very bad. There is one other aspect of Van Cortlandt Village. there has been a major effort for some time by people within the community to have declared a building called the Denishorn House a landmark. The reason and its background is it was quite truly the center port, the place where the cradle of dance in the area and modern dance, and a dozen of the leading experts in that area have written to testify and attest to that. City planning received, landmarks preservation received applications from the Historical Society and others and denied it because a piece of the building had been demolished. It didn't do that for 3 Manhattan buildings where the cast iron building had half removed. Some of the other buildings, Vanderbilt House and the like, had major portions removed. Here, because a small, really irrelevant portion of the building was removed, they said no. There are 2 issues here that make this very important. The first one is that this area and this building is a symbol for that community. And in my view, that's the most important issue. The second issue is that Sean was one of the leaders, both of the LGBTQ community and of dance within that community. And the second one is it was the birthplace of modern dance. And Bronx claims to have a leading role in the issue of dance and other activities. It's about time that it was recognized as a landmark. I should tell you as well that I think we have the support of the Bronx member of the Landmarks Commission to carry this through. So that we're moving forward on that. The first resolution you thus have before you is declaring it, the Denishorn House, a landmark. I move the resolution.
Thank you, Chuck. Any discussions? Deb, Travis, and Dr. Beetham.
Just one correction. I think the last paragraph should be a therefore be it resolved. It's a whereas. Okay, no, just making sure. And then the other thing I wanted to just ask is what if this building were made a landmark, what would that change? What does that impact?
Demolition going on within that area. That demolition really got a major boost when the Van Cortlandt Jewish Center essentially collapsed as a facility, although it may be put back in one of the constructed places. And this has an impact. It will otherwise be demolished. The whole area of single-family homes will then be in total jeopardy. What impact will it have? It will preserve the facility as historical landmark.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Beetham?
I have a question. What behind you? What was the nature of the 311? What were the nature of the 311 calls? Do we have any granularity as to exactly what questions?
The 311 calls were included, among other things, noise and suspected traffic that was inappropriate.
Do we have a breakdown as to percentage?
I'm sorry, we do have the study, and if you would like a copy, Abby's on the line, and we'll get it to you through the board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sebastian?
Who owns this house, Denishorn House?
I'm sorry?
Who owns it?
We believe it is part of the developmental activity that Innovative and other people in the area who have been doing the development are involved with.
Farris says it's
the same people who now own the synagogue site, basically.
And they do not want it to be landmark, right?
I'm sorry?
They are not requesting it to be landmark.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, so then let's take a vote. Any abstentions on this resolution? Any objections? Passes.
Thank you. The second resolution has a little bit of color to it in the sense that it has to be explained. There's an application for the construction of a synagogue on West 252nd Street and Arlington Avenue on the corner. The neighbors are not very favorably inclined to it for a whole range of reasons, parking being one of them, potential noise, and changing the character, arguably, of that area. While that is a very important point, unfortunately, the New York Court of Appeals has held it's irrelevant, and issues of use aren't, when they comes to institutions of learning, are protected by the First Amendment, and that is not something that government can take notice of or protect against. But they have another two objections that are entirely relevant. One is that there is an enormous amount of flooding on Arlington Avenue. You have a rain shower of any significant proportion, and that block will be flooded out from one side of the street to the other. That's clearly not the fault of the site or the proposed builders. So they have done those things in terms of dry wells and the like on their own property, but they can't deal with what's higher up in the block. We have imposed on, and I say imposed because I'm a real pain in the neck when I have to be, on DEP, and they have started to take a good hard look at doing something about it, because it's quite possible you have a river or some other water course in the area. That's the way it has to be done. I should add that part of the problem, and this is something true of most of the up the hill area in Riverdale, the street is not a dedicated street. It is not city property. It is private property. And so that is used as an excuse by the city for not doing a heck of a lot, like keeping the street in proper shape. We have recommended to the property owners that they get together and get it dedicated, because there's no advantage to them having it in the current form. Indeed, if the city wanted to be ornery, it could refuse to provide sanitation services and the like, because they're not supposed to go into private property. The other problem that they have is the street maintenance. And again, we have been in touch with DOT to try and get them to pay attention. As in many other instances with DOT, silence continues to reign. The resolution before you is based upon our jurisdiction, which is limited to SNAD. There is no SNAD violation by reason of any of the things they want to do here, and therefore we move approval.
Thank you. Any discussions, questions, comments? Okay, we'll take a vote. Any abstentions? Anyone disapprove? See fruit? Disapprove? Anyone else? Okay, all else pass. Okay.
Madam Chair, the last point I want to make is very brief. There are needs for people to come aboard and help. This Van Cortlandt Village situation is guaranteed, if it keeps on going, is going to impact on Sedgwick Avenue very quickly. It's going to impact on the entire surrounding area. You have a situation where single-family home communities are going to be destroyed. You have a situation where the builders are reckless in many cases. In one case, we had sewage pouring all over the streets in that area for days and weeks on end until the city of New York was able to come in and straighten it out. Why was the sewage? The person who bought the single-family home to turn it into a micro unit just happened to have somebody do the work who didn't know what the heck end of the pipe was.
Are we
And
doing a resolution on this evening?
we don't need that. I just wanted to report that we need to get people to come help us. This is going to be a project over the course of the summer and beyond.
Okay. And speaking of that, I just want to bring up the resolution for the land use. A motion to renew the standard resolution of Bronx Community Board 8, empowering the Land Use Committee to act on behalf of the full board during the summer recess of the board. It's been done in the past and it's just standard practice.
Let me make a quick point on why this is. We are given a limited amount of time within which to act on various matters. 30 days, 60 is the highest point. So something can happen over the course of the summer that we cannot act because we are not a representative of anything more than the committee. So this will enable us to do that and making representations to the city and other agencies.
Thank you, Chuck. And if the land use committee meets, all board members and the public will be invited to the meeting. But it gives him the right to move ahead. So any discussions, questions on that? Okay, so we'll take a vote. Any objections? Any abstentions? Passes. Thank you, Chuck. We're almost there towards the end. We have housing to go, and then elections and a few other committees. It's about 9:20. We really have to be out by a certain hour. So housing, I'm not rushing you because you're the last committee. And I just want to say on the Zoom, you have Amari and his mom, Zena Blue. Oh, I see your hand up. We're going to have to get back to you and call you because we gave all the information in the beginning of the meeting. And congratulations, Amari. You're welcome to come back to our September meeting, but we will give you a call during the week. And thank you for staying there. And congratulations, Amari. Good work. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the housing.
Yes, housing. We're going to save the best for last. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, anyway, housing, we had our last meeting on June 22nd, which was this past Monday. We had a discussion with Todd Baker, the Community Development Project Manager for Our Bronx, formerly known as Northwest Bronx Community and Clergy Coalition. And just to give a really brief overview, he spoke about the organization's 50 plus year history of community organizing, housing, health, economic development, and he mentioned something about the youth arm of the organization. The main focus of this Monday's meeting was on housing and land trusts, and he addressed the idea of a community land trust, which is a community-led organization that owns land and preserves permanent affordability while allowing residents to have direct say in governance. So I would advise people to read those minutes, their links, and 2 announcements that were mentioned that I think will be relevant to people would be that tomorrow, June 25th, there's a home repair resource event hosted at the Our Bronx office at 103 East 196th Street. It's from 2 to 7, and it's for people who are single, who have like single family to 4 family homes. And then on June 27th, there's a community meeting, and it doesn't say the time, but it's at 11. So it's at 11 a.m. Thank you. And our next meeting will be in September. If you want to put it on the calendar, it's the 4th Monday, usually, of the month. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your work too. Okay, so then we're going to move on to report on the mentoring program. Is Emily, where's Emily? Oh, there you are.
I'll be super quick. I just want to share feedback from our first year in the mentoring program as we move ahead and things that we're going to look to do next year. I want to look to have our kickoff of the mentoring program be all together for all the mentors and the mentees to really do one big event all together as we meet. I want to look for mentors that really serve on a variety of committees so we can really get the wisdom from many people. And I'm looking for mentors. I'm looking around the room who have, Julie, I didn't realize you had been on the community board since 1999. And I turned to Jessica Sosa. I was like, what were you doing in 1999? We were doing the same thing. And really, like, to people who have held that wisdom for so many years to be mentors, you have so much to share with us, and we really want to pass that knowledge down because that was the goal, to start earlier in the year. So as soon as we have those new community board members, I would love to get that list and to be in touch with them to make those pairs and set those days earlier when people join the board. And that's really what we learned from this first year pilot program.
Thank you, Emily. And I just want to say that Emily came up with the idea of the mentoring program, and we appreciate you following through and sticking with it.
And I want to
Thank
say,
you.
Julie, thank you so much for when I offered the idea for really taking the leap on it. Really, I deeply appreciate it.
It's a good idea. Thank you. Okay, so the next is social media working group. I know you're very busy with economic, and we thank you so much. I cannot believe you hung in there with this, but thank you, Constance, because you're doing a lot with economic.
You, Julie. Julie kind of tells me things, but I appreciate it. But you already talked about it. But look forward to, if folks are taking pictures when you're out, please send them to Farah so we can boost our social media. We will reach out to you very soon to get more information. And shout out to everybody from the board who went to our Bronx Economic Development Summit last month, this month. I don't even know what day it is. June.
Thank you. Okay, so am I missing something? Oh, the nominating. I'm wondering, why do you have the mic? We're going on to the nominating committee.
Still, Rashid, I'm still in your line. But yeah, last and not least, we actually have a nominating committee, and I want to give the special thanks to Bob Bender, Edward Green, Carol Blake, and Jessica Sosa for all the work that they have put in for the nominating committee. There's been lots of a good number of interviews and a lot of discussions regarding that. We've had 5 meetings, and for the first 4 meetings, everyone has received those as minutes. Everyone should have received a final report with our slate, which we will be transitioning to now with our election of officers. So thank y'all ever so much for the work that y'all put in.
Thank you to the committee for the work. So now we're going to go on. It's on the back of your package. You'll see the slate for the elections. We're going to do this in 2 to 3 parts. The first, we're going to do election of officers. Going to see if there's any nominations from the floor. If there are no nominations from the floor, we're going to do the officers first. The officers. Every position is open, so we're taking nominations from the floor for every single position of an officer. If anyone wants to nominate anyone from the floor, okay. Any other nominations?
I move to close nominations for Vice Chair.
Steve Fruit. So we have Jessica. We have Jessica and Bob. Yeah, they both accept. Jessica, you accept? Bob, you accept? Okay. Any other nominations from the floor for officers? Okay, so now we're going to do this since there are 2 people for 2 different positions. I'm following policy from previous years, going back as far as 2014 to 2020, when we had 2 candidates going for the same spot. We're going to do a paper ballot for the officers and for the vice chair. Before we do the voting on those 2 positions, I want to ask, are there any members who wish to speak on behalf of any of the candidates? They're given 1 minute to speak on behalf of any of the candidates. Let's start with the officers first. Does anyone want to speak on behalf of either Margaret Zella or Sergio Filaverde? We have Constance. Before you speak, because we're not gonna be here all night, I wanna know who wants to speak. Put your hands up now, because after that, so we have Constance, Steve Fruit. Anybody else want to speak for the chairperson? Okay, Constance, Steve Fruit, myself, and then we move on to the vice chair. Constance?
I just want to say thank you to Margaret. I had to step outside of my comfort zone, and I told her that because I needed to know more way back when about the Special Committee on Racial Equity. We had a really nice conversation. We ate, we had lunch. We've been in touch ever since, and I just really appreciate you for all that you do, for all that you have been doing, for the ways you supported me. So thank you so much for that. And I just wanted everybody to know she's a really stand-up woman. Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, I just want to say with respect to the chair position, there has been a longstanding tradition, it's not written down in the bylaws, of chairs serving for 3 years. And chairs have generally explained that it takes time to settle into the role and get to know the ropes. And one of the two candidates that are presented here, one candidate will be on the board before term limits expire for her for 3 years. But for the other candidate, Sergio, he's going to be term limited in March of next year in 27. So he's going to have a very abbreviated term, and we're going to have be between chairs until September of 27. And just for the stability of the board, I think it's something people should take into account when they consider the election, the choice. Thanks.
Okay, and I would just like to say, I in the report you mentioned that I went to speak to the nominating committee, and just for full disclosure, I went and I spoke on behalf of Margaret. She's been a member of many committees. She's been a great asset to me in my past 3 years as chairperson. I believe, as Steve, that being in the position, I think it would be good for the community and for the board members that you have someone that stays the full term and that could carry on after 1 year to 2 years to possibly 3 years and even more, because most of the board members here are new and you don't know about the policy of 3 years and out. But I know Margaret is qualified to lead this board. She's even-toned, she's knowledgeable, and hopefully most of you saw the email that she sent about herself, and she's definitely well qualified. I hope that you vote for Margaret because she would be an asset to the board and to the community. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to give the candidates time to speak, and then you'll be given. Oh, she has a call in. Then she'll be given. Sergio will speak, and then Margaret will speak. I'm handing this to you. Let's just move on.
You know, I'm going to ask that somebody else chair this. Madam Chair clearly has a position. She's advocated that position. I don't believe she can be fair and neutral as chair. So I believe that
I am being fair. You said you wanted to speak, and I told you you're going to speak right after me. I stated it for my statement.
Constance can chair.
No, Constance cannot chair the meeting. I said a statement. I said I'm going to speak for a minute, and then I'm taking it. Sergio, let's just move on. Do you wish to speak? Just speak. I said I'm giving you the mic when we finish. Listen, you guys cannot have your way whenever you want it. I said, who's speaking? I said 1, 2, 3, and then I said, and then we'll move on. Do you wish to speak? If not, I'll give it to Margaret, and then I'll just move on with the meeting. Do you wish to speak? Well, your point of order is that he needs to speak.
Gee whiz.
I surrendered my mic when I spoke for my 1 minute. I'm not surrendering the mic. I will surrender it as soon as this meeting is over.
This is really childish.
We're gonna take a vote. Who wants?
Point of order.
Yes.
I don't think it's necessary to put it to a vote. I'm sorry. I don't think it's necessary to put it to a vote, but just so that we can move on, would it be possible for Ms. Della to speak first, followed by Mr. Villaverde?
No, because when Constance was speaking, Sergio said to me he wants to speak. And I said, you are going to speak. And I even pointed to my.
I understand.
I said, want to, but no, because you can't have a little.
No, but if Ms. Della has no objection to speak,
I have an
first.
objection. I have an objection.
Childish, childish.
Take a point of principle. You cannot say
Oh, immature.
here who seems to have gotten upset is not me.
Because it's 9:32 and we need to move on. When they were talking, I told you I would give you it and you were okay with that. Are you going to speak, yes or no? I'm not going to apologize, so let's move on. Do you wish to speak on your candidacy?
Oh, God.
Not, but we don't have to have the vote, you know? The meeting, we're out of here at 10 o'clock.
Well, one thing that you'll certainly not have is what we just saw. One thing you will certainly not have is what we saw in May. And, the length of time issue has been raised, but it's quality, not quantity. And this is something we're going to have to get used to with term limits, because people are not going to be exactly on a 2 or 3 or 4 year cycle. This is the new reality. Now, I'm from this community. I'm a graduate of PS7, 141, John F. Kennedy. I've been volunteering in this community since I was 17 as an auxiliary police officer in the 50th precinct. This is where I live. This is where my roots are. You've all seen me here. You've all seen me chair meetings. I think my experience as a retired commander from the Coast Guard Reserve, retired from the police department, retired as an EMT, former EMT for New York City, right in this neighborhood, are things that make me uniquely qualified. I'm a parliamentarian, but the other thing you've seen is you've seen these meetings. You've seen the difference in the tone of the meetings. You've seen the efficiency in which these meetings have been run, and when nobody gets yelled at. And tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are. So we should be concerned if we have problems with the way things are run, because that's one endorsement I would not want. That's one, making phone calls, going to meetings and advocating a position and trying to use the chairman's mic is something you will never have with me. Even if we've disagreed, and I've been on this board for 17 years now, I believe, since Oliver Capel was our council member. And I was on Community Board 7 before this. Even if we disagree, you always know where I stand. You always know where I vote. You've always known that from day one. Even when there were votes here, that I was the only person who voted no. Because that's what you'll have with me. And the things we want to accomplish in the time that's here is really trying to move this office, this board office, to a centralized location. Is, since we are term limited, empowering our board staff and our board office to do a lot of the work that we as volunteers do and do very well. But we shouldn't be required to do all of that. We need to not micromanage the office. And you all heard me say that several times. We need to let people work. We need to hire the right people. We need to empower them, and we need to hold them accountable. Because another question that was raised, fair question. You all know that I have a business. You all know I'm an attorney. I'm the immediate past president of the Bronx Bar Association. So running organizations is something that comes second nature. But also people say, well, Sergio, you're really busy. You run your own practice. How could you be on the board? And my response to that is, if the board is not for people who are also working, then the system is wrong and we need to change that. Because it's great to be retired and have all the time in the world. That's wonderful. But the board needs to be open to people who work with the beginning of their careers, the middle of their careers, retired. We all need to have a place. And as you also know, I've lived the majority of my life on the other side of the tracks. I'm new to North Riverdale. But making sure that all members feel welcome, making sure that we have civility amongst ourselves and respect, I think, are things that are important, and those are important legacies that I would want to leave this board with. So I've called most of you. Most of you already know me. If you have any additional questions and that's permitted, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, everyone. Margaret Della, I think you all have known me, called your names every single meeting. But one, I just wanted to thank Sergio, Julie, the people who will be rolling off the board in the next year. I've had the benefit of learning from them. I've been on the board for 8 years, as I mentioned. And really, when I started off, I came to the board, I came to meetings. A lot of times we were meeting at the veterans organization off of 231st. And, I just saw this huge, raucous, loud, boisterous, wild group of people who were just debating back and forth. And while it seemed kind of chaotic in the moment, it was also really exciting to see so many people coming together to advocate for their position, to advocate for what they were seeing in the community, to have lived through multiple chairs, Rosemary, Laura, Julie, got to see how people were leading, how people were looking to, bring up others in the community. It has always been a challenge for people to have their voice at the community board and to feel like they could learn as they went, to take on leadership positions. That's just sort of the nature of the community board, and learning and sort of being at this public exposed level where you're making decisions or recommendations on letters or resolutions that could have real life implications for yourself and neighbors in the community. So one, I just wanted to give my admiration to those who have been serving for a long time and those who will be rolling off. The other thing is, I've been in the community, I guess I've lived in this community for 13 years. I've lived in the Bronx for 14 years. I most recently worked at Kingsbridge Heights Community Center. I was the executive director there, and really I helped the organization through a really difficult time. Before COVID hit, the organization itself almost closed within 4 months of me arriving there. And I say that because it's an incredible organization, and not because I came in and swooped in and did something magical, but because I had a board behind me. The staff is incredible. You all know KHCC. And so for me, I'm really proud of the work that we did there. And I think that it inspired me to take what I learned in redesigning administrative structures, helping organizations and people through massive transitions, things that can feel emotionally taxing, administratively taxing, and help come up with a way that people can find a way to still perform at their highest, and have something to show for it. I think one of the ways in which we can help not only the community have a better sense of what we do at the community board is to start talking about things in which we want to achieve, things we have, action steps or action items in order to accomplish. And then what are some of our successes? I think the community doesn't necessarily know what we do as a community board. So not only do we need language access, but we need to think about ways in which we're reaching people. Is that through flyers, social media? I think we all need sort of like that collective brain trust to think about what it is that we do, how we're going to demonstrate the actionable, how we've improved the services and what goes on in the district, and what are some of our successes that we can demonstrate to the community that actually means something. So in the years since I've left KHCC, I've certainly been a part of the community board, served on nearly every committee, stepped up whenever people needed me to. And so my thought was here not to be competitive in any way other than to be helpful for the transition, to learn, to carry what I've learned from, members who have been on the board for several years, help bridge the connection to whoever's going to lead in the future. And that's what I do professionally. And so however I can be useful and helpful to the board, that's what I'm here to do.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the vice chair position. We also have on Zoom, a member had nominated Caesar. Caesar, do you accept the nomination as vice chair? Okay, so then Karen Walker. So we have Caesar, Bob, and Jessica. Is there anyone in the room, any members who wish to speak on any of their behalf? Steve? Angel, you had your hand up too? And Chuck. So Angel, Chuck, and Steve.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Margaret Della for vice chair.
No, I asked it, does anyone want to speak on behalf of the 3 people that are up? We already did nomination.
I'd like to speak on behalf of Cesar.
Okay, wait, Karen, because you have Chuck, Steve, and then Karen.
I'd like to do something unusual. I was unaware that Bob would accept this nomination because I am the #1 member of his fan club. Having said that, however, I want you to know something. In my view, the rising talent that we have within this board is truly impressive. I was the first chairman of this board and the last chairman of its predecessor. So I've been around for over 30 years here. I can't tell you any point in that time where there have been more able, more talented people than are in this room today. And among them is a young lady who I have enormous admiration for because she has a brain that really works 24 hours a day. She is polite, she is kind, she is in every sense a wonderful human being. And lastly, because she has the ability to lead, not to dictate. And I congratulate her, and I will vote for her with all respect to my good friend Bob.
Karen, would you like to speak?
I can't hear.
Okay, you have a minute.
Okay. Did you say is it my turn to speak?
Yes, you have 1 minute.
Okay. I just want to speak on behalf of Cesar. He is all the things that Chuck just mentioned and more. And so he has an incredible wealth of knowledge about our borough and is committed both through his everyday work, his professional work, as well as in his spare time, which I don't even know what that means because he's always working on behalf of the Bronx. And I think that he is a light. He's kind. He's caring. He listens. He incorporates feedback. I think that he would make a wonderful vice chair, and he would be a great bridge to the future and encourage a younger generation to get involved with the community board. And so with having said all of that, I nominate Cesar for vice chair.
Thank you, Karen. And then we'll end it with Steve first.
I nominated Bob Bender because he has indicated to me that he's willing to do this job, even though he has already been the vice chair of the board for 3 years. He was Laura Spalter's vice chair. And he's given extraordinary time, maybe more time than anyone else sitting in this room, other than those who've been chair of the board already, to the community board. He's been the chair of committees, but he's also been the vice chair for 3 years. And to be very honest, he's retired and he's very happy to sit back. And he's got 3 years left on the board, but he is willing to be the bridge for either a chair who's only going to serve for 7 or 8 months, or for a chair who's still, new to the board relative to a lot of the people who've spent decades here. So it's really an altruistic gesture on his part. He's willing to do the work. He knows where everything is. He knows how to help a chair do the best job they can, and that's why I nominated him. I was also concerned that there were no other nominees at the time. I have nothing but the greatest respect for Jessica, but she hasn't been a chair of a committee on the board yet. I'm sure she will be. I certainly would urge her to be. And Cesar, I believe, has been chair of the youth committee for a good solid year. I think for and vice chairs, if Bob's still willing to serve, is the seasoning that comes with having occupied different roles on the board for many years.
Thank you. You have a minute.
Hi. All these nominees are just fabulous, all these names, but I speak on behalf of Bob Bender. He was my vice chair. He is as steady, his judgment, his hard work, and the way he edits a letter. He has been on so many committees, and he has chaired the Parks Committee, difficult committees. He's been on, his experience, I think, would be invaluable. And I know I really valued him as my vice chair. And I'm happy. All the names are fabulous, but I just have to speak for Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, so can I make it a quick addendum? Just a quick addendum, please. I also obviously support the other folks as
Karen,
well,
you have
but
to mute
I'm speaking.
yourself. You have to mute yourself. Everyone got a minute. We're going to let Jessica, Caesar, and
Okay.
Bob speak. Jessica?
Thank you, everyone. I feel weird standing here, so I'm just gonna sit. I just want to thank everyone for the nomination. I would step up to the calling for vice chair, presuming that Bob was not, or Cesar was not nominated. I agree with Steve. I haven't chaired a committee yet, and I welcome the opportunity to do that at some point in the future before, chairing as an officer. However, regardless, I'm willing to participate. I really love this community. I was born and raised in the Bronx. I'm building in the Bronx. And I actually really enjoy meeting all of you and working with you guys to build resolutions on how we can continue to be a better community and continue to better serve each other. Thank you for your kind words and the nomination. And I'm open to serve in any which way I can.
Thank you, Jessica. Cesar?
Yeah, so I want to say first and foremost that I hold both Bob and Jessica in extremely high regards. And it's hilarious that the folks in the nominating committee were the ones that are being nominated from the floor right now. Yeah, all three of us were on the nominating committee, so we could not actually be in this position. And just to speak on myself as the current chair of the youth committee, as now the former chair of the nominating committee, take this, and chair of the economic development committee, and just in my short time here, like on this board, having deepening breadths and depths across committees, ad hocs, SCREE from when I started, youth, Irving Latimer, and most of the awards as well. And for me, it's like my day job is the Bronx. How do we better the Bronx? How do we make sure that the Bronx gets the resources that they need? And we very much be able to work with either of the chairs, because we know that, like, at the end of the day, it's like, how do we make sure that our community gets the resources that we need? And for me, that is already my day job. So how do we work with the staff? How do we work with the rest? Like, make sure that everyone has what they need to actually make this a reality. That's what is happening in Northern Riverdale and what is happening in Kingsbridge Heights are comparable. So that way we have equitable distribution of resources. Well,
Thank you. Bob?
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a wealth of candidates, don't we, tonight? Didn't know that. I greatly admire Jessica and Cesar. Cesar chaired the nominating committee and very ably. I think they have a great future. I do want to observe, as Steve Fruit did, that one of the candidates for chair is term limited, and his term would be up in March of next year. So we need a vice chair who's prepared to step into the position of chair right away. I've been on the community board for 20 years. I've served on several different committees over that time. I've been on the Parks Committee all 20 of those years. I chaired the committee for 13 years. TNT, land use, almost from the beginning. I've also been on the nominating committee several times. I was on the district manager search committee, and I will say that committee did its job superbly well because we have an outstanding district manager, as everybody knows. And so, we have two good candidates tonight. It is a matter of some concern to me that Sergio's well qualified, Margaret's well qualified, but Sergio, as mentioned, is term limited to next March. And as I said, I think I'm prepared to step in at that point if Sergio is indeed elected chair tonight. I'm on the board of other community organizations, Friends of the Hudson River Greenway, Riverdale Main Streets Alliance. I retired only 2 years ago. So for 18 of these 20 years, I was on the board. I participated fully in committees and outside activities. I do have a little more time to do that now. I'm hoping not that much more time that I'll have to spend, but I'm prepared to step up to the position if I'm elected vice chair. And again, I thank the other two candidates. They have a great future on the board.
Okay, thank you. So this is what we're going to do. We have about 7 minutes left. We have a lady at the door waiting for us to leave. So you're going to take your voting sheets. You're going to give it to either Steve Fruit or Jalen. And then the two of them, if you would step out. But Steve, don't go too far because we're going to continue the voting process. So if you can just keep your head by the door there so that we can move on. Give Steve and Jalen your voting sheets and they will do the tabulation and they'll come back to us. For the vice chairperson, you could put the name of either Jessica, Bob, or Cesar. Only one can win. Just put who you wish as a vice chair, Jessica, Bob, or Cesar. And for the chair, just check who you wish. And in the meantime, because we really do have 7 minutes, for the officer slate, we have is uncontested for the secretary, Brittany Reynoso, and for the treasurer, Deborah Allen. Okay, so board members, the 2 officers remaining, can I make a motion that we vote on both of them together, Brittany and Deborah, for the treasurer and secretary? Motion? Okay.
Well, don't you first have to open the floor to nominations and see if anybody...
I did. I asked in the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that.
Okay.
My apologies,
That's
Julie.
okay.
You've been an excellent chair.
So we only have 6 minutes. So for the officers, if everyone can please pay attention, secretary and treasurer, we're voting together, Brittany and Deborah. And Steve, I need you to hear before you leave. We're voting on the 2 of them. Are there any objections? Abstentions? Okay, so it's approved. Congratulations, Brittany and Deborah, for secretary and treasurer. So now they're counting the votes for the officers. So the committee sign-up sheet. Where's Farah? Oh, we do. They've been doing Farah. They've been ask her and ask. No, they did. They text her or something. We need the sign-up sheets. Are there the sign-up sheets here? Sarah? I need the sign-up sheets. The sign-up sheets for the members, has it been distributed? Okay, if everyone can pick their committees, if you know which committees you want now, it would be helpful. If you don't know what you want now, you can contact Farah over the summer. But if you know your committee, it would be nice so that she can start getting the process. The office is shorthanded, so the quicker she gets the information, the better. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to go into executive session. Not until the vote, because maybe someone who didn't get a position may want to be a chair of a different committee. So I'd like to make a motion to go into executive. I'd like to amend the agenda. Thank you. Any objection? Okay, at this time, I ask any non-board members if you can just leave the room for a few minutes, because we're going to go into executive session. Flavia. No. Stephen Fruit. No, I need him. Can you come here for a minute, please? Is all the board members here? There are no non-board members? We're going into executive session. Are all the board members here? Okay. So I asked to amend the agenda so that we can go into executive session per 105H of the Open Meetings Law and 105F for personnel reasons. Okay, thank you. Where is Sebastian leave? Hey, Nick. Is that Nick? Yeah, I can see with my glasses. Nick, can you ask Steve to come in, Sebastian, please, so we can get out of here? Thank you. And this is off. The video is stopped. Does that take care of all of them? Thank you. Thank you. And then whoever's out there, they can come back in. Yes.
Move that we vote the slate without budget and traffic and transportation as is. Will somebody second that?
Okay, any discussions? Okay, so then we'll take a vote on the committee chairs except for budget and traffic and transportation. Are there any objections on the slate as is with those two exceptions? No objections? Any abstentions? So moved. Congratulations, everybody. Okay, are there any elected officials, representatives still outside? So we'll skip that. Is anyone on Zoom, any elected officials? Okay, so Nelise, you have 1 minute.
Hi everyone. I just want to let you know that we still have a notary service in our office, and our office will continue with regular hours this summer. And I just hope that you all have a great summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to old business. Does anyone have any old business? No. Any new business? No. Okay, so announcements. Our next board meeting will be September 8th, 2026. That's a tentative date. And now we're just waiting on the results, and we can end up with the elections on the budget and chair. So at this time, regarding the budget position, are there any nominations from the floor?
But they're both candidates.
Don't we vote out of executive session?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Oh, I hope that Steve came back in. Oh, when he came back in, we did. Okay, so let's just do it again just to make sure. Are we out of executive session? We're rolling? Okay, so what time is it? 5. Oh God, 10:05. 10:05 p.m. We're going to vote on the resolution to give Jalen an increase for her annual salary to be $58,000. Yes. Are there any objections? Abstentions? Okay. No objections. That's not what Georgia. Okay, pass. Thank you. Okay, so you can pick it up. Thank you. So we're just waiting for the results. The same way we did when COVID, they text or email. We've gone through this in 2014 and 2020 during COVID. We had paper ballots in 2020, and the people on Zoom either call, emailed, or text. And that's what Barry's been doing. You know, so there is a president, thankfully. Otherwise,
Warm up.
you can put it right here. You can put it right here. Right there. Thank you. Yeah. Please stay because we definitely have to vote for the committee chairs. Otherwise, the current committee chairs have to continue until September. So please do not leave. After you bring some back. No way. 21. We haven't done committee chairs yet. That opens up. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
He's okay. I talked to her earlier. Yeah, I guess she was out all day.
Got one bag that has a hole in it.
Okay.
It's like a little piece of hole. I see it on the hole. I see it. And you know, I was traveling. I had some food for that. Just to, I've never cleaned my bag either. You just came at a bad time after like 2 years of not cleaning my knapsack. That's right. There is a bags.
Okay, everyone, we have less than 2 minutes. We have the tally of the votes for, where are my glasses? The vice chair, the new vice chair, and congratulations, Bob Bender with 23 votes. But chairperson, with a vote of 19 to 17, very close. We have Margaret Della as the new chair. Congratulations. I want to congratulate Margaret and Bob, but I also want to say thank you to Sergio, Jessica, and Cesar for stepping up and at least going for it. It is appreciated. So now we're going to move on to the committee chairs. Okay. On what?
I'd like to nominate Jessica Sosa for the as budget chair, and at the same time, if it's feasible, table. I'd like to nominate Jessica Sosa as budget chair, and at the same time, table the as we can under our bylaws, table the traffic and transportation to September.
I think we should see now if anyone wants it. I mean, we're here, we're overstayed our visit. Let's just get it over with. Okay, so you're nominating Jessica for traffic and transportation? I mean, she's for budget. Are there any other nominations for budget? Are there any other nominations for budget? Only for budget. We still have traffic and transportation. Okay, so Jessica for budget. Do we have any nominations on the floor for traffic and transportation? Where's Debbie Allen? Any nominations for traffic and transportation? Okay. So, so no nominations at this time for traffic and transportation, is that correct? Okay, so then make a motion to vote on the slate as is, with adding Jessica as a budget. Motion? Second? Any abstentions? Objections? Approved. Thank you. Okay, and
Move to table traffic and transportation to September.
done. Any objections? Abstentions? No. Okay, so then, I'm going to steal yours. We're going to have to make a motion to amend, is there anything else that we have to do? To amend the agenda to end it and conclude the meeting.
To adjourn?
To adjourn. Okay, and I'd just like to thank everybody for this evening, and for those of you who think I dictate, I don't. I'm just a woman and I say what's on my mind and I run a meeting. And for the other people, thank you again for being here and for all your help. Have a good night.